Digital transformation has resulted in many of these services moving online. So we are looking at all smart applications, whether it is smart healthcare, smart education, smart building, smart car. So, and one of the important requirements today is the cyber security aspect of it. And that is the reason why we have to look at biometrics with a lot of importance and a lot of concern, so as to speak. Now, generally speaking, what is a biometric? Biometric is either I have put the keywords in green here. A biometric is a physiological, chemical, or behavioral characteristic of a human being that we can use to distinguish one person from the other, and we can use that for identification or verification of identity. So if you see this simple definition, if you see the keywords, one, it is physiological. Physiological means something to do with some part of your body. It could be your eyes, it could be your fingerprint, it could be your your hand geometry. It could be so many things that are associated with your human body. A biometric can be chemical, but that's very rarely we use chemical kind of biometrics. We use a lot of behavioral biometrics. Behavioral biometrics are something to do with your behavior. For example, the way you type in the computer, the fingers that you use to type, the way you bang a keyboard, the pressure with which you bang a keyboard, the way you sign, you put your signature, all those things, the way you walk, that's a behavioral trait. The way you walk, that gait, it's called gait. The way you walk is very unique to your person. So generally biometrics are physiological, that has something to do with the human body, or behavioral, which are something to do with the behavior of the person in some way or the other. And the advantages of these are both are unique in the sense that we can use that to distinguish A from B. That's the important catch about the biometrics. And today, as I mentioned, yeah, this is the same type of thing. Today's security challenges are very high. I have already told you, in the digital transformation age, we are in the COVID era. 2 years have almost passed, and we are not out of the woods yet. We are looking at a third wave, which we expect to peak around February. It may not affect us so much, but still, we are still not out of it, right? So the challenges are security challenges, are myriad security challenges are there. We are getting used to a hybrid way of life, but when we are moving on to a hybrid way also, it poses newer security challenges. Now, payments, let us look at payments. Day in and day out, we are using some UPI application, universal payment interface application, Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, WhatsApp Pay, so many things, and day in and day out we are doing this very mercilessly, or rather without any control. We are using these kind of UPI things. We are getting authenticated using our Aadhaar card or Aadhaar number, or so on and so forth. So all this is moving on to a direction where we need a lot of security. Security involves authentication. When I say authentication, it means that you are the person. When you are giving an email ID, you are giving a password. When you are going into your bank account, you are giving a password. Why are you giving the password? It is to authenticate that you are the person. You are writing a letter and signing at the end of the letter. Again, that is authentication. So all these kind of things are authentication that is happening. Then there is non-repudiation of the transaction. You are going on to Google Pay and making a payment. You are buying the product is coming home by courier or by speed post, and after that you say, oh, I did not do this. Who asked you to cut the money from my account? I did not do this. So you need mechanisms by which you non-repudiate a transaction. Means you cannot, once you do a transaction online, you don't want somebody to deny it in the future. That is non-repudiation of the transaction. It is akin to when you are writing a letter, at the end of the letter, you are signing the letter. Why you are signing? To non-repudiate that you are the person. That is the second security challenge. Third and fourth are interrelated. The integrity of the data, information, and the secrecy of the data and the information. You don't want the data to be changed. You don't want the data to be garbled, changed, modified. You don't want the data to be known to another person. That is secret. So biometrics is a very good technology for security, and primarily biometrics are used for this authentication aspect of the authentication aspect of cyber security. Biometrics is an excellent technology for authentication. And the others, of course, for non-repudiation, we perhaps use what is known as a digital signature or a physical signature. We use digital signatures for non-repudiation. For integrity and secrecy, you might have learned cyber security. You use hash functions, public key infrastructure, private key, public key, hash functions, and that kind of stuff. But for authentication purposes, biometrics is one of the best technologies available. So biometrics is good for authentication because it is not, it's not easy to steal or share, because it is depending upon what you have, what you know, and what you are. It is what you are. It is your fingerprint. Yes, somebody can spoof your fingerprint, take a sample, but ultimately it is your fingerprint. No, it is about you. So by and large, it's not going to change. Means majorly you're not going to see a lot of change. So that is biometrics is a very important tool, especially with respect to the authentication, with respect to the this thing. And out of the security challenges like integrity, secrecy, non-repudiation, it is authentication that is most benefited by biometrics. Now, if you go down memory lane, biometrics has been around for quite some time. In fact, from the 14th century, it is estimated that some Chinese, some explorer has said that Chinese merchants were using the palm prints of children, footprints of children to distinguish or identify children. But these things have been around. I think from 1800s, an anthropologist called Bertillon, he used a lot of body parts, especially for law enforcement. Hands, multiple body measurements for law enforcement and police agencies, and eventually that led to this Scotland Yard and all police and law enforcement agencies started using some kind of biometrics like fingerprint, hand, body measurements, and so on. So it's generally, even though it's been there for quite some time, last 300 to 250 years, we are seeing this, and primarily the applications were for police and law enforcement security purposes. Then a lot of research started happening. Face recognition systems inside 1970s. In fact, you see the James Bond movies, especially the James Bond movies where Roger Moore, I don't know if you follow James Bond movies, there have been 6 or 7 James Bond actors. Probably the actor who has acted in the most number of James Bond movies is Roger Moore, followed by Sean Connery, and then I think Daniel Craig. But Roger Moore probably acted in 10 to 10 movies as James Bond, and many of these movies you will see in the 70s and 80s, you will see a lot of biometric applications, face recognition systems, fingerprint systems, signature recognition systems, and so on. So this is the timeline, 70s face recognition, 74 signature recognition, hand recognition in 74, iris in 1990. One public this thing is Super Bowl in Tampa. Super Bowl is the biggest sporting event of the Northern America, and people were using face recognition systems. And obviously, one of the major watershed events was the September 11th, 9/11 attacks, after which we saw a lot of traction, a lot of movement towards more and more security, because, you know, Americans never thought that they would be attacked. And that attack also in the heart of their culture, the Twin Towers. So after that, it's been, you know, a lot of security, homeland security, and so on. And today, more and more, we are moving towards that. You know, we are having passports that are biometric. In the future, we need probably, I'm not talking 20 years from now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, we don't need a passport. We just walk into the airport, your biometric is taken, and, you know, all those things will be taken care. So that's the history with respect to the biometrics. Now, in a biometric, there are actually two modes of operation. There is a verification mode and an identification mode. And what is this verification mode? Initially, you have to enroll into the biometric device. So you go first, you give your fingerprint, the quality of the image is taken. This is an example, okay. The quality of the fingerprint is taken. If the features are good, then it goes through that. The fingerprint is extracted, the edges, edge detection happens, the features are extracted, and it is stored in the database. This is the enrollment phase. Then you have the verification phase. So this is one phase. So you have already given your fingerprint. It is stored in the database. It is there in the database. The second time you give your fingerprint, again there is an extraction happening of the fingerprint, and there is a matching happening. This time your fingerprint is compared with what you had given initially, and that is the that matching happens, and that is known as the verification phase. This matching phase is the verification phase. Now, if once you do that, there is another phase called identification phase, because many people are giving. There are so many things in the database. So many people are giving their fingerprints. So how is it identifying the person? That is the second phase. So I'll repeat. First time you give your fingerprint into the database, you are enrolling your fingerprint in the database. The fingerprint is being stored. Image processing operations are happening, edge detection, feature extraction, and it is stored in the database. Second time you are giving that is the verification mode. Here you are giving the fingerprint for the second time. Again, the same image processing operation happens, and it is compared with the initial image that you gave, and that is the verification mode. Now, in the database, there are so many entries, and from the entry, your biometric is taken and matched with all of them, and your name crops up, your identity crops up. That is the identification mode. So there are two modes. Verification mode, where the system validates the person's identity by comparing the captured biometric data with the template in the database, and this template is given during the enrollment. Identification mode means your biometric is selected from all the users. It is compared with all the users, one-to-many comparison, and your name crops up from that database. So this is the basic modes of the biometric, and thereby, to have a biometric system, you would need these modules. A sensor module to sense the biometric. It can be your fingerprint, it can be your iris or your retina, which are parts of your eye. It can be your hand, it can be anything. That sensing module is there. Then from that image or that waveform, suppose it is a speech recognition, you are not giving an image, you are speaking, right? You are talking to the voice, you are giving your voice as the input. That voice becomes a kind of a wave or waveform or a signal. So that is being sensed. Either your image of something, an image of a fingerprint, image of your iris, image of your signature, image of your hand, geometry, all this is sensed, or your voice is stored as a wave, that is sensed. Then you extract the features of yours, you match it with what you have given in the enrollment phase, and you store it in the database. So these are the various modules needed to build a biometric system: sensor, feature extraction, matcher, and finally system database. So this is about the basic fundamentals of the biometrics. A sensor module captures the biometric data of an individual. Feature extraction extracts features from that biometric data, like from your fingerprint, some sort of ridge or some pore or some image island is extracted. That feature is extracted, is compared with what you have given initially in the matcher, and finally all these are stored in the database. I will close for today with respect to the fundamentals of biometrics. In the next class, we will see the different types of biometrics and the other parameters. Okay, so now you need to mark your attendance. Just hold on. This is 6th hour, right? This is the 6th hour, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so, oh gosh, why is this so slow? Stinking. Okay, so what I will do is, rather than waste your time and my time, what I will do is I will read 3 at a time. I think that's the most effective thing. And you guys just need to, what is that? What do you call that?